Hey, warriors. I'm here. I am in the house, okay? We're going to talk about R. Kelly and what's been going on with his federal Chicago case. We got a couple of updates. Just give me a minute to let a couple more people get their asses up in here. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. coming, y'all. I'm just pulling up this document. All right, I'm ready to get started. Let's go official.
God is dawn. Like and subscribe. Comment some night. Love in this light. Here's God is dawn. God is dawn. God is dawn.
Peace, world, peace. Welcome or welcome back to Goddess Dawn Speaks. I am Goddess Dawn, baby, the warrior. Yes, and we ring bells over here, baby. Okay. We ring bells. Wake up, motherfuckers. We waking people up over here. All right. So, first of all, I want to say hi to everybody in the chat. What's going on, warriors? Miss Della, Chrissy Power, Michelle Hurd, Tabitha, wow, Wayne, yes, my people, my people, my people. Happy Friday to you. Shouty, what's going on, Shouty? I have pinned my backup channel to this chat, Blaze Adams 24/7. Actually, it's a long-standing blog of mine that I used to run back in the day. Blaze Adams 24/7. And over there, it's more so like reality TV and stuff like that. But I am going live later over there. I'm just trying to, branch out a little bit. And some of that stuff y'all ain't really into. So I just decided to reignite my old channel. It wasn't even a channel, actually. It was just, well, I guess it was. There's another channel where I have some old archive blogs, Blaze Adams 24/7. If you find that, you found the gold mine. Ray 4911. Happy Friday and welcome back. Welcome back. All right, so we're talking about R. Kelly, all right? There's been some updates in his Chicago federal case behind the scenes as we await sentencing coming up on the 23rd, just a few days from now. Finally, we're going to get the sentencing for R. Kelly, and with that, restitution, if there is going to be any restitution. So, let me talk about the sentencing. Well, let me just, I guess I'll go over the sentencing stuff first. So the government has responded to, not responded, but the government has submitted their sentencing memo to the court. And they are basically, letting the judge know what they feel is appropriate sentencing with regard to this case. Now, according to Jason Meisner on Twitter, who's the reporter, I believe he's with the Tribune, Chicago Tribune, and he's the one we follow. And he already has let us know that the government is looking for 25 years out of R. Kelly, and they want it consecutive and not concurrent. Okay, so consecutive meaning they want him to serve that 30 in New York. And if he survives, they want him to then start clocking the days on his 25 or, whatever the sentence he gets. But they're suggesting 25 years. So we're looking at 55 years total if the judge concedes to the government. Now, the judge has every right to go below their suggestion or above. The judge could very well give him more time than the 25 years. So I'm not going to read this whole 37-page document. I will go through more detail in the member channel later. Later. We're going to go live tomorrow night on the public channel, but to later on, I'm going to go through more detail this sentencing memo. So make sure you have joined the member channel, $1.99 a month, and we get back there. We talk details and we kiki and talk about these YouTube streets and whatever else. Okay, it's the VIP lounge. Get into it. All right. So there's along with this government, the judge, let me just say, if you have been checking my community wall on YouTube, then you already know these updates. You're already ahead of the game. If you're not following my community wall, get into that too. I'm also on Twitter at Goddess Dawn, the number 3, and on Instagram as well, Goddess Dawn 2, the number 2, the letter U. All right. So the judge has denied R. Kelly's request for a new trial and acquittal and a new trial. The judge has ordered denials on both of those motions. All right. The judge has also denied the government's request to delay the restitution calculation until after sentencing. They wanted the judge to wait sentencing to calculate, whatever restitution may be given. However, the judge came back and ordered a denial on that and said that R. Kelly is in so much debt, there might not even be any restitution. So unfortunately for Jane in the federal trial, I think it was Jane, Nia, and Pauline. I don't believe, according to what the judge said, they may not get anything, no coins, not a penny. And we'll talk about, he did tell a little bit more about what debt he's in, and that'll be member channel also. And what else has happened? There's been something else. Let me look. Well, I'll look after. Let's go into this government sentencing memo. Let me come over to the chat real quick. Prosecutors doing their jobs. Exactly, Miss Della. Yes. Doing their jobs, okay? All right. So in the sentencing memo, the government has stated that R. Kelly is a serial sexual predator who, over the course of many years, specifically targeted young girls and went to great lengths to conceal his abuse of Jane and other minor victims. To this day, and even following the jury verdict against him, Kelly refuses to accept responsibility for his crimes. To the contrary, Kelly brazenly blames his victims and argues that his abuse of 14, 15, and 16-year-old girls was justified because some of his victims as minors, quote, wanted to pursue a romantic and sexual connection with him, and others remained in contact with him as adults. At the age of 56 years old, Kelly's lack of remorse and failure to grasp the gravity of his criminal conduct against children demonstrates that he poses a serious danger to society. Yeah. Kelly goes so far as to insinuate that he, and not the young girls he abused, is the victim because the federal government elected to prosecute him for egregious conduct that occurred throughout the United States for over 20 years. Now, the government, what they've done here is they have used the words of Bone Jean out of her own sentencing memo against R. Kelly, okay? Because she definitely did state in that memo that R. Kelly wanted, or that these victims wanted this, that they're in love with him, that they still to this day, feel love for this man. And the fact that she said those things does definitely say that they are tone deaf to the situation. Still trying to hammer down the fact that these children were actually the ones in the seat of responsibility when it comes to their engagement with this man. Physical engagement, I mean. Standing alone, a sentence of 300 months imprisonment appropriately accounts for the indescribable harm defendants has caused to Jane, Pauline, and Nia. 300 months, y'all. Such a sentence is required to protect Kelly's would-be victims and is sufficient but not greater than necessary to meet the goals of sentencing. So they're standing on the fact that he needs this much time on top of the 30 he already has been sentenced to in New York, because He has no remorse. He's showing absolutely no remorse. And he is still to this day not grasping the gravity of his conduct, his criminal conduct. Still trying to blame the victims. And though his attorney is the person who, completed the paperwork and did all the administrative work, they do work with their clients when they are creating such documents. He knows what's in these documents, and he has a say as to what is said on his behalf. He could have very well apologized or, shown some type of remorse on his end, shown to the court through his words and even actions, because he didn't take the stand on his own behalf, that he is remorseful, but he hasn't done that. So they go on in this memo and they go through the factual background, which I'm not going to go through here. They go into the background of his abuse of Jane. Okay. They go through all the different videos, the videos that they showed in court, or they, I think they showed the videos, or was it just the audio? She testified to video 1. She testified to video 2. And it goes into detail as to what the videos depict, which is, to think of the fact that this was a child at the time. Now, mind you, they met when she was 12 years old. She was introduced to him by Sparkle, her aunt, right? So she met him at 12, and then he went behind Sparkle's back and started to groom her, inviting her over without Sparkle's knowledge, getting to the parents behind her back too. Now the parents and her still to this day don't have a relationship because the parents, he drove a wedge between them. They talk about, details such as Kelly inserting his finger in Jane's anus and urinating on her. Saying that, both Kelly and Jane are naked throughout the video. And then obviously we know it's him because he got up several times during these sessions, and he went to get up and adjust the camera, which his face was dead in. He zooms in closer, they said, each time. So there's no mistaking it's him on the video. I think the only question at the top of the trial was whether or not they were underage when these things took place. These victims testified to the fact that they were teenagers. Kelly and Jane, it says, repeatedly refer to Jane's age as 14 years old in the video. For example, Kelly instructs Jane to say to him, "Lick that 14-year-old P-U-S-S-Y." Jane obeys and repeats after Kelly because she's mocking and repeating. That's all she knows. Prior to meeting him, she didn't know anything about this stuff. She was 12. And I personally, and I've said this many times, I'm standing on it, I don't believe he waited till she was 14 to have any type of physical touch or engagement with her. She says that they were having phone sex first and that it worked their way up to the physical stuff. But yeah, they get into all the details though. All the gritty, nasty, dirty, damn details. Even quotes from her on the video. Jane said, quote, "You said if I keep practicing, Daddy," because okay, so let me see. Let me go up a little bit. So they talk about, as with videos 1 and 2, Jane is just 14 years old in this video. So this is the third video. Although it appears to precede the others, a fact which is confirmed by Jane's action and language in this video, as Kelly provides more directions, reinforcing Jane's unfamiliarity with Kelly's sexual commands. So there it is, reinforcing the fact that she knew what the hell was going on or what she was doing. He was telling her, teaching her, training her, however you want to phrase it, what to do, pimping her, however you want to phrase it. For example, Jane said, quote, "You said you're going to stick it in this PUSSY one day when it's wide open for you, daddy." Kelly told Jane to talk louder for the video, obviously, right? And she repeated, when it get wide and open for you, daddy. You said if I keep practicing, daddy. This man, he knew what he was doing. He knew that he was dealing with children. He knew what he was doing was wrong, yet he continued to do it. Like, she was one of the earlier people that we knew about that he had done this with. And two, this was in the 90s and the early 2000s. Because we know that he dumped her after his 2008 trial when he didn't need her anymore, when he thought he didn't need her anymore. So they go on to talk about how Kelly obstructed justice. Underneath Jane's section here, it says a few years after Kelly began abusing Jane, video one was leaked. This happened around late 2001 when Kelly's career was reaching new heights. In 1998, Kelly performed his hit song, I Believe I Can Fly, at the Grammy Awards. In February 2002, performed at the closing ceremony of the Winter Olympics. In other words, Kelly had a lot to lose. And this is why he was holding her and her family so close to his vest, because he knew that they were the key to his freedom. If he could keep them under his guard, then he could stay out of prison. And it happened just that way. But here we are years later, decades later, and she's a grown-ass woman. She's, how old is she now? 30 something, right? 34. Okay, I'm in the chat. Ray said this man is delusional. Miss Della said he's worrying about a BOP officer and ex-girlfriend leaked emails. Exactly. No remorse. Ray, that's a narcissist for you. He'll never have genuine remorse. Yes, Wow Wayne, thank you for shouting out my Cash App. Got to pay for this pacer, child. Thank you for anybody who has been contributing, because I do get random contributions every here and there, and I do appreciate them very much. Ms. Della says she saw that video. I don't know how you sleep at night. He knows it's all true. Yes, he does. Ray said, I was between 14 to 16 years old when I saw the video. Oh my gosh. And I was disgusted. That was definitely him. And that little girl was so childlike in her movements and responses. Sick man. It's interesting to me to hear some people's feedback about that video. We're talking about the pissy video. That's why we call his super fans the Pea Hive. And some people, or mostly men, I've heard, respond about that video and say that she looked too grown and too experienced in their opinion have been a child or been a teenager. And that just goes to R. Kelly's the work he put in to make sure that she looked just that way. I'm curious as to what his obsession was over videoing all of his crimes. Now, we're happy that he did, right? Because if he did not video himself committing these crimes, we probably wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't probably even have the 2008 trial, because I believe that was all about the tape. And Joyce 26, Chrissy said, wait, no, I'm talking about Landfair. Jane from the Chicago trial, Rashana. Miss Della says she looked like a little girl. Andrew, okay, she's 37 or 38. Okay. Yeah, I knew she was close to 40. This woman is almost 40 years old. And she's still dealing with this man's bullshit. Because of R. Kelly, she didn't have a life. I'll just say he stole her life. We'll just say he stole her life. So the fact that she's asking for millions of dollars shouldn't. Is your life worth more than $1 million? How much would you say your life is worth if you had to put a price on your life from the age of 12 to her present, which is close to 40 years old, and somebody has manipulated you, mind fucked you basically. This woman had no career, she had no education. I think she did go to school, and mind you, when she did go to school, if you remember, he would only help pay for the schooling if she majored in what he told her, and took the classes that he told her to take, which was child development. Why would he put her on a path of being a person who deals with children and getting a degree in child development, which is typically what people do when they work or open daycare centers? It's okay, Chrissy. It's all good. But yeah, why would he have been putting her in a position to have a background, an educational background in child development? So he could have access to more children, so he could help her open a daycare or a chain of daycares and have access to these children. And also, we don't know who else in the industry, adult wise, that R. Kelly was communicating with and dealing with, as well as a predator, as a groomer, a groomer, a predator, and a child abuser with other celebrities. We don't know if he might have been pimping these girls out. They have themselves, and I mean, at this point, I'm talking about Azriel, Landfair, the people who have testified, Jane Van, what's her name, Van Allen, Lisa Van Allen, about the orgies and all the different things. They were made to have sex with people they didn't even know, nor probably would they have done so if they did know them. He had them do these things. Ray, I'm 36, so that sounds about right. She looked like she was more so groomed to do the movements. He liked then experience a woman as a woman knowing what she enjoys during sex. Yeah, I get it. Those men and supporters are just looking for excuses. Ms. Della said, crazy folks thinks he's coming home soon. Exactly. And yeah, that's another narrative that we've been hearing the whole time we've been on YouTube dealing with this. At this point, this is my 5th year talking about this bastard. But yeah, there's definitely a super fan base here on YouTube. We call them the Beehive, but who continuously say he's coming home. He's coming home for the holidays. He's coming home. I'm surprised they didn't have a whole Valentine's Day campaign for him. And happy Valentine's Day for those of you who do celebrate that. I wasn't online. I haven't been on here most of this week. And I've been busy, child. You know what I'm saying? I got to keep this household together. As y'all see, prices is going up, child. The food prices, the gas prices, I'm reading, are going to go back up. In a couple of months, those gas prices are probably going to be somewhere we have never seen them before. And that's a whole other subject. And that's why we go live on Saturday nights, because this is stuff we talk about. So please join us. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Like this video right now. All of y'all in this video, can you please like this video currently? Hey, Queen. Queen Keisha's made it. So, Queen, I'm going over the sentencing memo for our, that the government has submitted for R. Kelly. They're going into all the details of why they want 25 years at least minimum for this man, on top of the 30. They want a consecutive, not a concurrent sentence for this man. Hey, Aisha. Welcome, Queens. Yeah, we're getting into some of these details, and usually I try to, separate my personal feelings when I'm dealing with this, because it gets heavy, right? But it pisses me off to think, me, myself, as a woman now, but as once a child, can't even imagine a grown-ass man commandeering my life, where to this point as an adult, like I said, Rashana, or you guys let me know, Andrew, thank you, that she's close to 40 years old now. She hasn't had a life. I mean, she might have, she's lived. Obviously, she's breathing. She's moving around. Her health is hopefully her health is well, aside from whatever disease he done gave her. because we know he's carrying and he passes these things along, and these things stick. There's no cure for herpes, so with that being said, he has stolen this woman's life, and they want to be mad about the fact that she wanted some millions of dollars, and I feel like she's worth millions of dollars, because I know I am. And I know that if my life had been commandeered from 12 to now, I would be, and I'm just waking up to it, or I'm just now getting the strength and the courage to move into a public space to actually hold him accountable. Then I'm gonna want some money, and they may say, well, you know what, you wouldn't have been a millionaire if he would have left you alone. You wouldn't have been a millionaire. How do you know? You don't know what I could have accomplished during my lifetime. You don't know what I could have done, whether it be earn that money on my own, or maybe I would have met a man who would have been you never know. She could have met a rich man. Some people do. I'm just saying, he ruined that for her. What rich man gonna want her now? And what kind of men? I mean, for these victims to be able to have a fulfilled life after all of this. Azriel, I think of Azriel and her striving for a music career. I believe she just released something, recently, a video, a song, and she was also on YouTube about a week or so ago, y'all. If you guys are following her on YouTube, I don't know if you saw her come onto her channel, but she's trying to live her life and trying to detach herself from the stink of R. Kelly and the stigma that it carries for her to have been involved with him the way she was. I mean, think about it. What real man worth anything who, has a career or a business, who's thriving out in the world, is going to get involved with an Azriel, a Rashana? You know, I'm just saying, not to, I'm not trying to say they don't deserve. They do deserve. But, we're human, and a lot of these men's egos just probably couldn't get past the fact that, not only did they deal with R. Kelly and what is known of R. Kelly as far as his behaviors, but the fact that everything is detailed in these court documents and these transcripts, the herpes, the orgies, just the disgustingness, the feces, the pee, like all the stuff. I hope they are all in therapy. And if nothing else, if he can't afford them millions of dollars, he should be able to afford them therapy. He should be paying for the therapy. And when you think about the fact that these trials, have been so lengthy and taken up, so much of people's time and things, I'm talking from all areas, from the court, the media, here on YouTube. There's people who go on every single day and talk about R. Kelly. But think about over the years, how many people's lives he's negatively affected, and what type of punishment does he deserve for doing this? We're talking, and I'm just talking about one or two people right now, but we don't even know, countless of victims. And I think Jim Dergatis said he had talked to, how many people did he say he had talked to that confessed to being a victim of R. Kelly's? And not all of them made it to court. Okay, there was maybe more than 50. I can't remember, but it's a lot of girls, and now we know a lot of boys too who are now men. Not 69, Miss Della. Can't be 69, because that would be a whole 69 survivors. So these are known survivors, or are these people that we are estimating? Because both of y'all are saying 69, so that has to be the number. The fact that it is 69, because the number 69 it's a double entendre. That's a lot of survivors. That's a lot of people to have fucked over. Can you imagine if all 69 of them did a class action on his ass? They need to continue this on him. Oh, Jim said that. Okay. Um. So then think about outside of that 69. There's more. There's more. He's had 30 years of this going on all over the country, and he really turned Chicago out. I think Chicago is finally waking up and realizing that this man is a pretty sick fuck. Okay, it's definitely more, Andrew. I know it's more. I know it's more. Queen said there's no restitution to be given because he's going in debt. Yeah. Yep. Let me see what else is in this memo that I want to cover on this channel. Like I said, I'm going to the member channel to go into more detail about this sentencing order memo, as well as some of the orders the judge has filed. He went into detail, the judge did, about why he denied the acquittal and the new trial. He gave details. So I'm going to go into that on the member channel. But he did deny the new trial. He denied, the acquittal. All right. So they continue to go around here of Jane and the stuff that happened from 2002. They talk about the 2008 trial. Let's see what they say about Kelly State Court trial in 2008. So the trial was held between May 20th, 2008 and June 13th, 2008. Neither Jane nor her parents testified, and Kelly was ultimately acquitted. At 2022 federal trial, the financial records entered into evidence showed that Kelly's company, Bass Productions, issued numerous checks to Brandon in the months leading up to and after Kelly's 2008 state foreign trial, and well after Brandon had become aware that Kelly had filmed his minor daughter engaged in sexually explicit conduct. And this is Brandon is Jane or Landfair's father, Greg, who is now deceased, but who R. Kelly had at one point, he had hired this man to play instruments, on his tours and on his albums and stuff. It says, for example, between February 2007 and May 9th, 2008, Kelly paid Brandon $23,300. These payments were made by check, and 4 of them stated that they were loans on the memo of the check. Additional payments were made to Brandon after Kelly was acquitted at the 2008 trial on June 13, 2008. On June 20th, 2008, Kelly paid Brandon $3,000. On August 25th, 2008, McDavid issued on Kelly's behalf a check to Brandon in the amount of $4,792.92 for 2006 property taxes. So these people were struggling, and he's basically spoon feeding them pennies, in my opinion, as much as money as he had at that time. He was at the height of everything. Even though he was going through this trial, he was doing the most. Now McDavid out here issuing these checks, and McDavid has been acquitted, or he was found not guilty on all the charges that he was under. But as we see here, he was a very active go-between between R. Kelly and this family, and probably all the victims. Okay, and but McDavid got off. He got off. It says on August 26, 2008, McDavid issued another check on Kelly's behalf to Brandon in the amount of $10,000. On September 17th, 2008, McDavid issued for Kelly a check to Brandon in the amount of $30,000. There is no memo noted for this large lump sum payment. So after the trial, when he stopped dealing, because Rashana or Jane, she testified that after the 2008 trial, he became different with her. He started to be more abusive and dismissive. And it could have been because he was writing these checks, and we know how much of a tight ass he is. I know people want to say he's so generous and he did this and he did that. Or he was a cheapskate, in my opinion. It says in 2014, Jane asked Kelly to help her with rent payments. So she shouldn't have to been asking him. 2014, years after the 2008 trial. I'm bad at math, but what is that? 6 years? 30, 40. Yeah, 6 years. She's still struggling. The parents are struggling. She couldn't go to her parents for help. She had to go to him. Or maybe she wanted to go to him because he was at this point treating her like a bald-headed stepchild. But she needed $1,100 a month. It said at first he refused, but Jane reminded him who she was, all that she had given up for him, and what she knew about their sexual history together. So basically she had to, in a sense, blackmail him. Not blackmail, but she had to hold this shit over his head and let him know, like, you not out of the woods, baby boy. I can still do harm to you because of what you did to me. At this point, she acknowledges that she was done wrong. So that tells us that she knew, well, now she knows that what he did to her was very much inappropriate and criminal. So he ultimately agreed, and she started receiving monthly payments. Now, $1,100 a month for R. Kelly at the time where he did have money was nothing. And he should have wanted to help her. And this is what I'm saying, how much of a jerk and an asshole this man is. Like, how do you do this to people and then turn your back on them? And now they can't climb out of the hole you put them in. She's trying to scratch and claw her way out of this hole. And he didn't want to help. And what he helped her with, $1,100 and $1,150 a month, was, to me, not nearly enough to compensate her. He should have bought her house. Why didn't she have a house? He had enough money. He didn't even buy his own self a house. So I don't know why I'm asking that. But R. Kelly, this man just, he picked the wrong people. First of all, he made the wrong choices, right? Even though people desire things or want things in life, if you have any type of moral compass, if you have any type of integrity, if you have a soul, you're going to decide against harming other people for your own benefit. Those narcissistic ways are what is a danger to a lot of people, because it trumps making right decisions. You're just thinking about yourself and screw everybody else. And now we in the age of Aquarius, child. We in a spiritual warfare, and always have been, honestly, but the tides are turning. These secret keeping people, these secrets that have been buried for years, people who are doing other people wrong and knowing it, these people are seeing their karma. These people are being exposed. Not only being exposed, but they're being held to task, being held accountable for their jacked up actions. And he should be a lesson to anybody who might be thinking about even trying to do these things. But I think that people who are in this type of mental, I don't know, playing this mental Rubik's Cube with the right and wrong things to do in life, and they choose to do these type of things, they're mentally beyond reproach anyway. I think that some people are just mentally incapable of making. But I think that once you recognize as an adult, you need to get yourself some help. There's doctors and things out here that are psychiatrists, psychologists, spiritual counselors like myself. I have many clients that, we meditate. I actually have a life coaching certificate at this point also, as well as the meditation. And so there's different ways to deal with your problems. A lot of times self prayer, just praying, might not be enough. When you pray, you ask for guidance, and you ask for to put you, in the right direction, on the right path. You ask for the right people to come into your life so that you can get some help. um Let me go back into the chat. Let me scroll up. Queen said he needs more than 25 years. Her whole life, RSK made her think their relationship was okay all the way until he went to jail in 2019, and she was still giving him money. Yeah, she was brainwashed for 25 years. She's going to need therapy. I don't think Rashana or even Azriel will be able to get jobs or go to school because they will be questioned, tormented about Aaliyah. Everyone remembers them. I mean, they are kind of, in fact, celebrities in a sense. I mean, I don't think everybody will recognize them on the street, but there's a certain group of people who will. There are certain people, maybe 1 out of 25 people might recognize these victims from Surviving R. Kelly, just from the notoriety of these cases. And that's a whole other level of shit that these women and men, boys, have to deal with because of R. Kelly, the aftermath of R. Kelly. The fact that Dave Chappelle made a skit for the whole world to see and laugh, mocking her ordeal. She deserves millions. You know what? That is actually true. I wonder, could they actually have sued the Dave Chappelle show and the Boondocks and the different, media? What are they called? The different shows and things that made fun or mocked these situations. I know if I was one of these victims, I'd be suing the hell out of everybody, the record labels, Dave Chappelle show, even though it's no longer a show, but they, whatever outlet put out the Dave Chappelle show, I might even sue Dave Chappelle's ass. I mean, I'm just saying. He has no remorse. I wish Joy would go home. I pray she realizes he's not coming home. Unfortunately, I don't think Joy has a choice in this matter. I don't think Joy can just say, you know what? I think I'm done here. No, I don't think it's voluntary at this point. I really do believe if she is, under R. Kelly's roof, and he let us know that he needed rent money to help pay rent for her. So, I feel like she's either, well, first of all, she's being gaslit the hell out of her. They're gaslighting the hell out of her. They may even be drugging her. She might be taking pills just to stay, in a chill space. Or she could even be physically being held. Like, I honestly feel like she just can't get up and walk out. Not safely, anyway. If the fans keep putting money on his books, they will take it for restitution. Yeah, they sure did. And he was mad about that. Y'all heard him on that phone call. If you guys didn't hear the phone call that R. Kelly made to YouTuber Storm Monroe, go back into my archives. We talked about it and we played it here, where they took what, 28,000 from his books and left him with 500. Who needs $28,000 in prison, in jail, and you ain't going nowhere? I mean, he might need it, but I'm saying, like, is that right for him to have $28,000 on his books? Andrew said that dude is cheap. Didn't even pay Carrie and Bruce. Oh, I know, right? Yeah, he did his family wrong, in my opinion. They said his mother didn't even have a headstone on her grave. I mean, he claimed to have loved his mother so much. I mean, to the point where, where she drank her coffee with left her lipstick stain. He wanted to drink from the same side of the cup so he could have his lips on her lips. He even confessed to fantasizing about being with his mom sexually. And to be very honest, we don't know that he wasn't. I mean, he says his sister, he and his brothers blame the sister. We've never heard from the sister. We don't know what's going on with it. We don't know if that's true. I mean, I've said this before. Just because R. Kelly said it, don't mean it's true. He's a liar. He is a lying, manipulative son of a bitch. Okay. Ray said he got his ass got extorted. Queen, I'm glad she got a new baby, seemingly moved on with a new man. Okay, yeah, Rashana. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. She did move on, right? I don't know what her situation is, if she's married. We do know she has had a child. And I'm concerned for that child, to be honest with you, because I remember reading after he had gotten locked up, I think she filed for bankruptcy. And I think they also let us know she was working for a daycare. And I was concerned about her working for a daycare, but she might have been working for a daycare because that's where she went to school and got her degree for. Did she get a degree? I don't even know if she finished school. But again, like I mentioned before, R. Kelly put her on a path for child development for a reason. This man is sick. He is sick. He was plotting through his victim to victimize more children. He couldn't afford it. He had them girls in the cult to take care of now Azrael, Joy, and the rest. He lost all his properties. Oh, right. So yeah, I don't even know if did he buy any properties and lose them, or was he leasing properties and just, because I don't think he owns anything. Has he ever even owned a car? I mean, he's such a deadbeat. How do you be a millionaire? Or almost, they say he was almost worth $1 billion at one point. 900 million, I think he was worth at some point in his career. How are you worth 900 million at some point in your career, millions of dollars throughout most of your adult life, and still be a deadbeat bum and a sick criminal? Like, Keith stole some money. I bet he's so dumb he didn't even know where all his money is. Well, yeah, and his lawyer, Bonjean, in the sentencing memo, she pointed out the fact that he had been basically swindled by the people that he had around him. But guess what? He chose these people. Like, you cannot plead to the court for mercy because he was swindled when he let these people come back to him even after they sued him. People showed him who they were, and he continued to allow them around him. Remember, he set up a lot of the people that worked for him by having them write letters, damaging letters against themselves, so that he could hold this stuff over their head in case they wanted to tell on him, in case they want to snitch. And that could be a lot of the reason why some of the people, like a Cheryl Mack, and God, I can't think of that other lady's name. Cheryl Mack, and help me out, y'all. Who was the lady with the big hair who had the red dress on when she testified? Well, she went on that talk show after she testified. Well, anyway, those people are still to this day. She's writing letters. She wrote letters for both of his sentencings. Hey, Thomas Reese. These people are still under his control. And it may even be fear-based, that he could be threatening them from jail. Look, I got these letters on you. I got this on you. I got that. He could have people on video that we don't know about. And he's still threatening these people. Because this is why he did it. Because he didn't want to end up where he is now. And he don't want to, he's still thinking he's going to get appealed out. And he thinks maybe, I don't know, a miracle is going to happen and he's going to get out. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to get him an appeal bond. You're not going to get an appeal bond after you've been convicted 30 years, and then we'll just say 25 based on what the government wants for Chicago. Once you've been sentenced to those degrees and convicted in these two very serious cases, federal cases at that, you ain't going to get an appeal bond. Okay? Wayne said, guilty, guilty, guilty. That's right, Wayne. Let him know. Queen said, Joy won't either be able to live in peace when she leaves. Yeah, we got to pray for Joy and everyone else involved here, because there's people like, think about the hair braider, what was her name? Carter, Lanita. Think about the fact that she didn't get to go to court. They canceled the court trial right before, he's being sentenced. But, these people had to deal with this mentally, like thinking one day I'm gonna have to get up in court against R. Kelly. And it's already a highly publicized situation. It's already very much stigmatized, like being nasty and gross and disgusting. And now you're attached to this. So you're mentally dealing with this every single day. I'm pretty sure it was a thought like, oh God, I gotta, the days are counting down that I'm gonna have to go to court and deal with this. And then all of a sudden it gets canceled. So now your voice is shut down. You're not gonna get to say nothing. So what I suggest these people do, maybe write a book, or a script, or something, a treatment of some type, and sell that. Start a podcast. There's a lot of different things you can do to get your story out and to get heard. But nothing's the same as being in front of your actual abuser in a court setting where you know that he is going to pay in time for his crimes against you. Now it's like you feel worthless. Like, oh, well, I wasn't important enough to be able to get my trial date. And it's not fair. So I do feel that, maybe I did, at the time I said Kim Fox, she made the decision that's best, she made the best decision, I guess, that she could. But, it was very costly for them to keep that 800 line going and all these other things. But at this point, the state trial was the first trial to come to us. It was the first trial he was indicted on, the first set of charges that he was indicted on before the federal charges. So if you've had these things going all this time, what would it have mattered if you would have went on to trial? I mean, even if, I think maybe, and I don't know if it's up to R. Kelly, but maybe he should have done a bench trial instead of going through the jury trial. Just do it in front of the judge. You know what I'm saying? Let these victims get their say. And then, whatever sentence happened after that, it wouldn't even matter because he's already serving life at this point. So, I just feel like maybe it was worth it to let them be heard. Ms. Della said, hopefully in years, all will die down. As said, she's going to college to get her degree. Yeah, she's been saying that, but I don't know. I did see she put something else on her Twitter about college, but I don't know if she's, saying you want to go to college and actually going through the steps of going back to school are definitely two different things. I hope she buckles down and does it. It's going to take a lot of discipline, especially for somebody who's been out of that type of energy, that out of that type of kind of environment, I guess, a learning environment. She's going to have to really buckle down because there's a lot of distractions out here. In college, you got to, from even applying to college, like it's a lot. The application, you probably got to write an essay, test scores, you got to submit transcripts and do all the stuff. It's a lot. And then once you're in school, well, we know she got that 300,000, in which I think she's spending it on her music career, from what I could tell, because that video she did looked very costly. It looked like it cost a lot of money. It was a good video. So I don't know if she's using that money to fund her career. I hope she's not, because you really need to get an investor, because that money is going to go so fast if she's just living off of it. Hopefully she invested it, or she's letting the interest, she's getting high enough dividends off her interest to be able to live maybe off interest, or at least, supplement. But she, I think Azriel has an opportunity. She just needs the right people around her. She has the right people around her, and somebody who actually really wants to hold her down, somebody who cares enough. Like, if I was in a position, I think I could try to broker something with her. I might even, look, girl, you're going to have to listen to me, though. You're going to have to listen to me if you get my money. But let me help you with this career. Like, I think she's talented. She's beautiful. The only problem is R. Kelly. and his stink. And I really do pray she's still not dealing with this man, because I feel like he's still trying to, mess with her. With those public phone calls he was doing. I think those were signals or messages to people, including her. Hopefully she is blocking him out. Queen said it still hasn't died down. It's been years, and when Z goes to college, I'm sure one students harass her. Yeah, you never know too. Like some of these R. Kelly fans, they come in all ages, child. Believe it or not, even young. And to be in an environment where you're mixing with different types of people, and some of these people might be R. Kelly super fans. They could be trying to sabotage her or do something to her, or even, give information about her on her day to day. Could be writing R. Kelly and saying, "Look, let me be on your email list because old girl is in my Black American Studies class," or whatever. It's dangerous for these high profile victims out here in these streets, especially for Joy if she's in Chicago and moving around outside. Even though Joy is supposed to be his fiance, let them tell it, people are crazy. And, if she spotted, or even Azriel, like I believe somebody said Azriel is in Dubai. I don't know if she's, or in Africa. I don't know where she is, but I feel like she probably is better off out of the country. Don't go to Africa though, because Pastor Peter is in Africa, child. He out there selling liquid water, whatever he was doing. It ain't safe. It ain't safe. It ain't safe. The sister needs to come out and speak. Yeah, at this point, I don't even know if the sister is still alive. We don't know. We don't know what's going on. Miss Della, maybe in his mind he believes everything he did was normal. Exactly. Okay, I'm gonna close this out in a few. I'm gonna put the link in the chat, and anybody want to come in and give their 2 cents? I meant to do that before, my bad. Wow, Wayne, if you could, if you just came in, if you just came in, hit the like button. Feel free to share this video. Comment if you're in the replay. I want to hear from you. What do you think about R. Kelly being the government proposing 25 years, while Bonjean in her sentencing memo, she proposed 11 to 13 and some change. So we're looking at a vast difference in the sentencing memos, suggested time. The judge is, he's going to read these things, but the judge has got his own mindset, and the judge is going to do what the judge is going to do. Do you think the judge is going to go closer to what R. Kelly is asking for, or is he going to be closer to what the government is asking for, or is the judge going to go above and beyond his duty and make up his own mind and just go in his own direction? She also says she was releasing an album, and she should release an album, because remember when she was lying on Gayle King talking about she's not interested in music, I don't want to do music. This girl is a songbird. She's a songbird, and you only get one youth. You only get one time in this lifetime to have a youthful period where you could be out there shaking your ass, and you could be out there looking cute in the little skimpy clothes and all of that. She's still in her mid-20s, right? I think she's 25 or 24. She still has time. It also is going to take time for her to shake off this R. Kelly stink. Maybe businesses. Yeah, she should start a business. She might actually need to go, remember when they said that her father, Mr. Clary, shout out to Mr. Clary, that he wanted to start a business with R. Kelly, using R. Kelly's music to have a dildo business. Well, I mean, Azriel was very sexualized by R. Kelly, and as we can see when she presents herself, she's a very sexually driven, I would say, at least for her music, young lady. And maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea for them to have gone into the dildo business or toy business. I think it's a pretty lucrative business. Ask Candy Burris from Real Housewives of Atlanta and Escape, child. She has candy coated, whatever her sex toy company is, I believe it's still going strong. There's nothing wrong with a little sex toy, and the people behind the scenes selling these things are, they got a business plan. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, share, subscribe. Remember to check out the replay. Leave comments down below. Thank you, Wayne. And remember to catch my community wall on a daily basis. I'm putting updates up there. We are looking forward to the sentencing coming up on the 23rd. So in just a few days, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 5 days from now, 6 days. So, one of the other things Bonjean put in her sentencing memo is that these girls were not coerced physically or with threats. But even right here, it says, at trial, Jane testified at length how the tactics, including physical abuse, that Kelly used to control her after his 2008 acquittal, created fear and financial dependency. And that's why, and I remembered that. And that's why when I read Bonjean's memo, I questioned, was she asleep during the trial? Was she asleep during Jane's direct testimony? Because she's saying things that aren't true. And maybe she's hoping the judge wasn't paying attention either. Because even with her talking about Elvis, and he married his wife, his 14-year-old girlfriend, but she was 21 when they got married. So it's just the way she words things. And I guess that's what lawyers do. Lawyers are professional liars, honestly. They just, they know how to manipulate words, and they know how to construct sentences, paragraphs, memos, letters, motions in a way to where it benefits their client, even if it's a twist in the truth. But Jane definitely did testify about abuse and different tactics. And financial dependency, in my opinion, is a sort of abuse, because that's why she can't take care of herself now. She never learned how to live her life as a grown person. And it's unfortunate that her parents didn't do better by her. But I think her parents themselves are damaged people. I would be very curious to know the background of her parents, their childhood backgrounds. How were they raised? What type of people were they around? I really want to know why somebody could do this to their child, or allow this to happen to their child. The Beehive continuously accuses these parents of selling their children. In their case, we could maybe say that this might be true, because they did have a price over Rashana's head, and R. Kelly begrudgingly paid it with the crimes he committed, as far as the dollar amounts go. The little bit of money he was giving them, they should have a home, a nice big home, mansion, if you want to say, maybe even a compound where the family members could all live on the same property. They should have had more from R. Kelly. They should have maybe even had a business. They should have set their daughter up a lot better. I'm sure they probably knew at some point she was going to be grown, and she was going to need to take care of herself, because they're not in a position to do it. Now she's bargaining with the government on getting Section 8. This is a low vibrational thought pattern and a broke mentality. And she is unfortunately stuck, to me, in what I'm seeing, in a low vibrational space. And R. Kelly has his foot on her still. It's really sad. So they go on to talk about how the videos were transported in interstate commerce, which is, also a crime. She goes into Nia's background. Nia is the intern from the label that he, fondled and molested and whatever. Pauline, Jane's best friend at the time, also a minor, talked about the alcohol that he plied them with. That's a crime as well. Did he get charged for giving these minors alcohol and drugs? Because I'm pretty sure there was drugs too. Jane, so let's see. Jane told Pauline it was okay that Pauline could re-enter the room, which she did. And once in the room, so let me see. Let me go up. One day, Pauline and Jane were at Kelly's home, and Pauline could not find Jane. Pauline went looking for Jane and found her in Kelly's basement log cabin room, where video one was filmed with Kelly. Jane was naked and kneeling on the floor in front of Kelly. Pauline ran out of the room and Jane ran after her. Jane told Pauline it was okay and that Pauline could re-enter the room. So this is the first time she's seen them in this position or these positions. Once in the room, Kelly told Pauline that he was just looking for bruises on Jane because Jane hurt herself. When Pauline pushed back and stated, "That's not how you look for bruises," Kelly told her it was and stated that we all have secrets, like the little boy you've been kissing on. When Pauline admitted that she had kissed a boy, Kelly pressured Pauline. "Your mama don't know about that, do she? She don't have to know about this. We all cool." Pauline acquiesced and said, "I'm cool." Pauline testified that what Kelly was communicating to her was that he was doing just fine and that it was our secret. And that is the grooming process, using her own actions against her. "Oh, well, you kissed that boy. Your mama don't know that, don't she? Do she? Well, she don't. Do you want her to know? Because I'm sure he was going to threaten to tell the parents some stuff and lie. And who were the parents going to believe? R. Kelly over their teenage daughter? Probably. Some of these parents would. Directly after this conversation, Kelly directed Jane to kiss Pauline, which she did. Kelly also introduced the two girls to touch each other's breasts, which they did. Kelly also fondled their breasts. Now at this point, you got this girl with, now she's bisexual at this point, and not even understanding it, not even knowing, probably not wanting it either. Like, I don't think that it's normal if you're not attracted to women, and I don't know if she was or is or whatever, but to be told to do these things with another woman, and she just did it. But I would think that in most cases young girls are going to run out the room. A young girl is going to be like, no, I don't want to. I'm good. I want to go home. I'm thinking about myself, because I just probably would have excused myself at that point. But that was his test. That was his test to see how far he could go with these girls. So at this point, they're having a threesome. This grown man is having a threesome with these young teenagers, and that is disgusting. And yeah, so after that, Kelly continued to engage Pauline in sexual activity. And she went on to give all the details on that. So now they talk about the guideline calculation, counts, the different counts 1 through 3, and the base levels. I won't get into that here. Let's see. Now they talk about the fact that he had them under fear. They talked about how that under this definition of fear that they describe the evidence available at sentencing as to each of the victims more than satisfies the statutory elements required to employ the cross-reference. And they say when asked, "Why did you participate in those sex acts?" Jane responded, "It was out of intimidation. He was an authoritative figure, so I didn't know how to respond." And the law on this is that if a person has a influence, which he did as a celebrity, that it is a crime, even if they're of age. Okay, so even when the people are of age, if you are a person like someone's boss or someone who can manipulate things in a negative way for them because you have a certain position in life, a certain amount of money, that is illegal. Let me see. They go through his criminal history. Of course, New York is at the top of the list with being convicted and sentenced to 30 years. And they then go into the advisory of the sentencing guideline range, the application of the sentencing factors, the nature and circumstances of the offense. They go into all the details, all the details. And they talk about how they need for the sentence imposed to reflect the seriousness of the offense. They needed to also promote the respect for the law, and they needed to also provide just punishment, adequate deterrence and protection for the public. And that's the reasons that they want 25 years minimum for sentencing for R. Kelly. Yeah. And this is where they say that Kelly's refusal to accept responsibility for his action dates back to 2008, when he pressured Jane and her parents to lie to a grand jury, escaping justice back when then only emboldened him to continue the abuse of children, including having sex with a 16-year-old girl just 1 year following the 2008 trial. Ciao. Okay, they talk about the possession and manufacturing of the child pornography. I mean, this man, he's just scum. I just don't know how anybody could support him or continue to advocate for him unless they're advocating for themselves. That's what I see. I see people who themselves have either done these things or have desires to do these things, or maybe they have someone, or maybe they're a victim of these things and they can't see the fact that they were victimized, or maybe they have someone close in their family who's doing these things. There are so many reasons, or maybe they just mentally tapped out. I don't know, but I don't know how any self-respecting human being with morals and integrity and self-respect could advocate for an R. Kelly. I think I had brought this up before. Does Bill Cosby have fan base on YouTube advocating for him? What about Weinstein? I don't think so. Yeah, it's a special brand of nut jobs we got here. Okay, I've gone well beyond and over the time that I have had allotted for this, so I'm going to have to end this live, but I will be, again, I'm going to go on the member channel. We're going to talk more in detail about this live, as well as what the government talked about as far as the restitution. Like I said, they tried to get the restitution delayed until after sentencing. The judge said, yeah, there's probably not even going to be any restitution because he don't have no money. So he owes a lot. He owes more money than is coming in. Ms. Della said, maybe in his mind, he believes everything he did was normal. I don't think so, because I think if he thought everything he did was normal, he wouldn't have been trying to hide it and manipulate manipulate people into writing letters against themselves and putting people on video to deter them from telling on him. I don't think he would have been trying to hide. Let's see. Yeah. So again, y'all, follow me on my backup channel. The link is pinned in the chat. This is where it's a reality TV. It's called Blaze Adams 24/7. It is a blog that I had back in the day, which I revived. I forgot I had a YouTube channel for it. I have 2 different YouTube channels for it, and one of them has actual videos of my blogs from back then. So, but this one is not it. This one is the clean channel. So I'm just starting to put videos up for, reality TV stuff. Just trying to test the waters to see, what I could do outside of this R. Kelly channel. Because that's really what this is at this point. Even though I cover other topics now, this is the R. Kelly channel. So, but listen, I want to thank you. Thank you for giving me your time today. Just stay tuned, okay? We got more to come. I want to just leave it here, I guess. That's going to do it. Till next time, y'all. Peace.